What's up, everybody? So one of the biggest questions people are asking right now is, does Face ID suck? And the answer is no. It's actually pretty impressive, but it's not perfect. So let's talk about that. So Face ID is actually a lot better than I expected it to be, but you have to understand its limitations. You can't be any closer than 10 inches from your phone, and you can't really be much further than like 24 inches. I've noticed that when I'm laying in bed that I usually have it a little bit too close and I have to move it a couple inches away for it to work properly. So I've been getting used to that and adapting, and I don't really hold it ever like further than 24 inches, so that hasn't been an issue for me at all. Another limitation is when you have your phone laying flat on the table. It actually does a pretty good job at this, but obviously you'd be able to do it easier with Touch ID. I noticed that when I was first using the phone, that if I tried to use it, I would be a little bit too far away, and if I just adjusted my head maybe a couple inches forward, it would actually read it no problem. So now I've just gotten in the habit of being a little bit closer, and it's really not a big deal. Something it's really good at is adapting to how you look. So some days I wear my glasses. Sometimes in the morning when I pick up my phone, I'm not wearing them yet. Sometimes I'm wearing a hat. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm out on a walk and I'm wearing a hood. And that hasn't been an issue at all. It pretty much works every time. And it's basically like I don't even have a passcode on my phone. Low light is not an issue at all. I've been in pitch black and there's been no issues. It works perfect. And even in direct sunlight, I've heard some people have issues with it. I haven't had any of those issues. I've seen some comparisons online putting Touch ID versus Face ID, and Touch ID wins every time. But it's actually not a fair comparison because they had their phone configured so when it recognizes Touch ID, it would bypass the lock screen. And right now, Face ID is not set up to be able to work that way at all. So I would say if they were both set up that way, it would be much closer. Touch ID still might be faster, but I don't think that the way it's being compared right now is fair. I'm the type of person that likes to look at my phone and see the notifications. I don't want to go right past it. Like, what if I see something I want to actually click into? So I would say maybe the option would be nice, but I probably would leave it the way it is. The second I pick up my phone and look at it, it's unlocked. I can look at my notifications. If I want to swipe in to get into the phone, I can. Or if I want to use the flashlight or the camera, those options are there. I don't want to be pushed right through to the home screen. So I think that it's fine. I don't think there's a big difference in speed. And there's also plenty of times that Face ID works better than Touch ID. There were a lot of times when, like, if I was just doing dishes and my hands were slightly wet, or if my hands had some sweat or grease or anything on them, it wouldn't work. I would end up having to put my fingerprint in a couple times, nothing happens, then I have to put the passcode in. So, I mean, Face ID has limitations, so does Touch ID. Touch ID wasn't perfect. Touch ID was really good, but it was not perfect. Another situation where I think Face ID is better than Touch ID is when using it with certain apps that have a passcode set up, like your banking apps or other apps, and it would actually come up and like give you the option to sign in, and then you have to put your finger on the fingerprint scanner and then you would get through. Now you don't have to do anything. Like, you're already set to go. It looks for your face and then you just get right in. So that situation, I think Face ID is actually better. Also, in the car, and this might not work for everyone, but in my car specifically, when I have my phone on the air vent and I use Siri to basically be able to send text or tell it to navigate me somewhere, in the previous phone, I would have to reach over and put my finger on the fingerprint because Siri would say, you have to unlock your phone first. With Face ID, it can actually see me from where I am, and it asks me to unlock the phone first, but then it sees my face and then it just goes and does what it has to do. I don't have to try to go put my finger on there, which could be dangerous. There's some other things that actually benefit from having the Face ID sensors as well. On your lock screen, you actually have some privacy. So in the settings in other phones, you were able to set it up so if somebody picked up your phone, it would only show like the notification of like what app it was coming from. There would be no details. It wouldn't show the message. But if you did have that set up, then even when you looked at your phone, it was the same thing. So that's not real convenient. So now with Face ID, if somebody else picks up your phone, they're going to see it that way, where they don't get the information, they just see that the notification is from a specific app. But if I look at my phone, I'll be able to read the message. I'll be able to see all the details. And I think that is actually a really underrated feature that not that many people are talking about. And I think that's pretty cool. And there's also an emoji, which, I mean, it's gimmicky, but I'm not going to lie, it's pretty fun. And I use it.
Can I have some carrots? Please?
There's also portrait mode on the front-facing camera, and I've had it work pretty well, like a lot of the time, but I have seen reviewers that have compared it to the Pixel 2, and definitely the Pixel 2 takes the cake, but I definitely don't mind having these features on this phone. To wrap things up, I'm really enjoying Face ID so far, and I think it's going to continue to get better over time. I really like Touch ID, and I was one of those people that were nervous about Face ID, but I really am, like, I don't think I'm going to miss Touch ID at all. If this video helped you out at all, give it a like and maybe share it to somebody that was thinking about getting the 10, but wasn't sure about the whole Face ID thing. And I'll see you guys next time.